Welcome to the Guitars, Cowboys, and Hillbilly Music Podcast. You're here today with Rhett Arnold and Jager Pfeiffer, and we are joined today with Mr. Charlie Hickman of the Charlie Hickman Band.
Yes, sir. How y'all doing?
We're doing great. How are you?
Hey, if I was any better, I might explode.
That's great.
This was a very last-minute deal, so we appreciate you coming
Yes,
through.
thank
We had an episode lined up we release our episodes on Monday. We had one for this week, and I somehow deleted the audio.
He messed it up.
So it was a train wreck. So
Yeah,
we were texting all these people last night, and I was like, Charlie.
Perfect. So we've been sitting here talking a little bit, and you are from Cushing, right?
So I was born in Ardmore, Oklahoma in '94, and then my dad he served at a church in Davis, Oklahoma until we moved to Cushing, which would have been in '98. So I've been in Cushing for 23 years. So I mean I'm pretty much from
Yeah, you're not born, but you're raised.
I was raised.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So when did you guys decide to start the band? How did you meet your band members?
So in 2016, my dad was the worship leader at the First Baptist Church of Cushing, and I started playing in the church band, and my guitar player and bass player both came from there, and then we had a older gentleman who played drums for us for a while until he went on to bigger and better things, and we found somebody else. So, but that's how it all started back in 2016.
Sure. So once you guys got together and you started playing some bars, I'm sure, maybe some festivals, what got you into like, okay, we're going to start releasing music, recording music, stuff like that?
I think it was always the goal to record and release music. I think in the beginning when you start out, you have to go play just get any show you can, you know. So, but that was always the goal, was to record and release music. But we started out here in Stillwater. I think my first gig was at a place called Draft Days. I don't know if you guys remember that or not.
No, we're relatively new to Stillwater.
Yeah.
I would say I've been here since freshman year. I'm a junior now.
So Draft Days was downtown, like kind of by Louis. Where did you know where the Pink Parrot went in?
No.
Okay, so the Pink Parrot sold to or Draft Days sold to Pink Parrot, and then it was franchised, and then it went out of business. Anyway, that was my first gig. Was at Draft Days, and there was a lady named Gail Hunt who, coincidentally enough, is from Cushing as well, who owned that place. And I went in there one day and was just like, I've never done this before. Can I get a gig here? Yeah. She was like, yeah, I guess, $20 and free beer or whatever.
Yeah.
So that was a cool deal back then. Now it's not so lucrative. But.
So how did you? So you're going to be playing Calf Fry this year.
Yes, sir.
How did all that come about?
So the first time we played at the Tumbleweed would have been in 2016. We did it was like a Battle of the Bands, something that was kind of off the wall.
Yeah.
But we did that, and that was our first step into the Tumbleweed. And then
How did you do it, Battle of the Bands?
I think we won in Stillwater, and then we lost at the second. There was like 2 or 3 rounds.
Okay.
So we won the Stillwater one, then lost the.
I think we have this bad association with everybody that we've had on that's been in Battle of the Bands hasn't
won it.
So
now
this was like,
hopefully we'll be getting some people on here pretty soon.
This was like the country music showdown when that was
Okay.
the thing, and Tumbleweed just hosted it, so it wasn't like anything they did. But we played that and won it here, and then lost it in wherever the next place was that we had to go play. So. But that was kind of our first step into the Tumbleweed, and then after that, I think it was 2019 before we played there again, and we opened up for Austin Meade, which that was a cool show, and then good friends with Kerry McBride, been hanging out with him for quite a while since we started playing out there, and in 2021 he offered us the after party. So we played the 2021 after party on the Friday night whenever Parker McCollum was headlining.
Yeah.
And then couple years after that, and he hit me up about doing this one. So
Yeah.
Awesome.
yeah,
That's pretty awesome.
it's cool.
Yeah, we're gonna be. I don't know the best way to word this. We're gonna be the only media group that
Yep.
gets full 3-day passes to they're doing a media tent in the back, and I work at a tumbleweed. I don't know if I told you that or anything, but we're gonna be the only group that gets 3 days. At tumbleweed. So we'll be there, and we'll link up again.
When I told people, we're the only media outlet that will have full 3D access.
That's
3D
cool, man.
access, like you said. But
Yeah.
yeah, we're super excited. Hopefully, we get to meet some of the artists, set them down, little quick interviews and
Right.
stuff like that. I think it'll be a good time.
That'd be awesome.
So who are some of the artists? Who are some of your favorite artists that you've had the opportunity to open with or meet, or along the way? Can you pull up his songs on Spotify?
Yes.
There's one I want to bring up.
Yeah.
We've been really blessed. We've had lots of opportunities to open up for some really cool people. We've gotten to open up for like Giovanni and the Guns and Austin a couple times, Austin Mead a couple times, and we've opened up for Casey Donahue a couple times. So I mean, we've really been fortunate and blessed to get to be in front of some of these guys who have paved the way and but I think my favorite one would have to be the last show we opened up for Casey Donahue. It was a sold out show. It was in Manhattan, Kansas, at a venue called The Hat. They always take really good care of us, and it was a blast. It gets
Good
rowdy.
time.
Yeah, it was a
Yeah.
good time for sure.
So do you write all of your music, or
Yes.
okay, just you, or do your band? Is that a collective thing, or is it?
There was probably 2 or 3 songs that me and my old bass player Terry Bradley, me and him collaborated on a few things on the Trouble album. Pretty much everything after the Trouble album was on my own, except for the third verse of a song called "Falling Like Flying," which we just released.
Yep.
And that third verse, half of it was penned by Cade Roth. Do you know who Cade Roth is?
I do not.
Look up Cade Roth. You'll thank me later. But yeah, he wrote a little bit of that third verse, and me
Yeah.
and him kind of bounced it back and forth. So, but most of the material I write on my own.
Okay. Trouble is the song I wanted to bring up.
I was gonna.
I
bring
love
that
the
too.
intro
I
to
did
that
too.
song.
I was gonna tell you if we were gonna play it. I was like, we need to play Trouble. I'm like,
We've been
I
playing
was
it.
listening to
We've been playing an intro song to whoever we have on that week, but they get copyrighted.
Yeah.
On YouTube,
Oh, yeah.
Sadly.
So we've stepped away from that. But
Yeah.
also at the end of the episode, we do like a playlist. So we'll have you come up with like 3 songs you've been liking recently or something.
Cool.
So just a heads up.
Yeah.
Because most of the time we catch people off guard with that.
Yeah.
I'll be thinking.
Perfect. So, so I see all you've put out is really just singles and a couple EPs, correct?
Yep.
Do you guys have any plans for the future, putting out like a full album, or you want to stick to the single EP format? That's kind of been blowing up here lately.
It'll definitely be probably the single EP format. In my opinion, I think that, and it was always a dream of mine to release an LP. I always thought that would be so cool, to release a full length album. But that is not fiscally responsible these days.
Yeah.
Anybody out there that knows how much it costs to record music could back that
Yeah.
up. But also, I think that the way that our attention span is these days as well, no one's going to sit and listen through a 12-song album. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? I think that's kind of a lost art. Just being able to sit down and listen back to front. So
Yeah, for sure.
singles and EPs, I think, in my opinion, that's the way to go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it seems like a lot of artists are going to that now. I mean, just for example, like Zach Bryan, a lot of what he did for a long time was just single with like one other song, just like really short album EP types. I guess that's what EP is.
Right.
But then he just did a huge song dump with American Heartbreak.
Yeah.
And then it was just like a lot of songs, which a lot of those songs on that album were already released too. And then so it kind of made people more attracted to go to listen to the album because they already knew the music that was on there. So
So what's your take on? I was thinking about that the other day. Like Morgan Wallen, his new album, his last 2 albums, I think, super long. What's your take on that, both of you? Because
So, I mean, I'm just a blue collar kid from Cushing. So anything I say, I mean, don't get upset about what I'm saying. You know what I mean? But as far in my opinion, and I'm not hating on those guys or whatever they do. Those guys definitely have a machine in Nashville that works for them. In a way, I guess it works against them as well in a way. But to have backing like they do from a record label, they can go in and do, however many songs they want to do, as long as they want to pay that much that they've been fronted from that company. So it's I feel like if you had the funding for that'd be cool. If you had 20 songs to go record and you wanted to do it, and go do it, but you're talking about $200,000-$300,000. I mean, astronomical.
For me, it just loses the. Anytime I see a super long album like that, I'm like, I really don't want to sit here and go through all of these songs.
See,
why can't we just pick the best and then you got a couple albums on deck?
See, I don't know. I come from a different perspective, which I think is kind of cool because you have the artist perspective, the anti perspective, and I kind of like it. I kind of like it because especially if I really enjoy the artist, I'll sit there and if it's a normal album that's 10 songs long, I can sit there and listen to all those songs quickly and know all of them quickly and then get tired of them quickly. But then there's songs or albums like American Heartbreak that I loved. I keep referencing Zach Bryan because I guess I don't know why. But I didn't say I wasn't. So there's still songs on that album that I haven't completely listened through and fully understood. And whenever I listen to a song, I break it down. I want to know song meaning, all that stuff. So I'm still enjoying that album even though it's been released for almost a year. That's just my perspective, but it also has to be an artist that I really enjoy and really like listening to.
Well, and I think kind of another point on that would be quality and quantity. Your quality to quantity, which I think a lot of those, and I don't know this to be true. I know when you have a 20-song or a 15-song album or whatever, you've typically got 2 or 3 or 4 other songwriters that are collaborating with you on something like that. Because at that point, it's a big project, and there's a lot of money in it, and they want a lot of money out of it. So you kind of follow the money trail, and you see things like that. But I mean, as far as the just the album of 20 songs or whatever, I could see some pros and cons to both sides of that. From an artist perspective, because I mean, the more content you have out, the more material you have out, the more people are going to want to dive into it. So there is a pro to that, I would say, as well.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
What got you into music? Is there something in your childhood that got you into music and playing, or is it something more recent?
So first of all, my mom is a music teacher, has been my entire life. Okay. My dad was a worship pastor at a church, so I was pretty much from the get-go. I mean, I was just.
You were doomed. It was gonna happen.
Oh, dude, yeah. I mean, and I can think back and I remember, my mom and dad, they had a 2001 pearl white Grand Marquis tape deck, and we'd be going to a church service or revival or whatever, and they were supposed to be singing a special, so they'd pop the old tape deck in, and they'd be practicing in the car. So I mean, just music was always on. It was always something, and it was a lot of different music. But I would say that I was just from the start. I didn't have a chance.
Yeah. Do you play multiple instruments or just guitar or?
Yeah, I don't claim to play anything well. I mean, I feel like I'm a decent guitar player after I've done it for 15, 16 years.
Yeah.
But I can pick up and pluck around on a 5-string banjo, and I can play a few chords on a mandolin and a ukulele, and I know a little bit of piano, and I can give you a solid, beat on drums probably for 5 or 10 minutes, but nothing crazy,
Yeah,
yeah.
sure.
So is acoustic guitar what you play at your shows?
No, I don't play acoustic. I play full band. I play electric. Okay. I do a lot. I do a lot of acoustic shows as well. So I do play quite a bit of acoustic as well, but
oh no, you got them started now.
Hey. What kind of guitar do you play?
I play my acoustic.
Electric.
My electric okay. So my acoustic guitar is a 2016 Gibson J45.
Okay.
I was working in the construction industry, as I still do, and thought it'd be a great idea to go buy that guitar on credit card. So that's how I ended up with my J45. Luckily, it's paid for now. But
so what about the electric?
The electric guitar is a no name, does not have a name on the headstock. Somebody pieced it together It is a knockoff 335.
Okay.
Hey,
So-
he's already getting you fitted for a Rex tie as we speak. That's what's going through his head right now.
What?
I can tell.
I'm surprised you didn't, real quick. That's what Matt plays is 335.
Oh, really?
Yeah, except for his is like a legitimate 335, and mine is not. Mine's like a $200 335. But so there was a guy. Whenever I traded a guitar for this guitar. The guitar that I traded for was probably a $150 guitar, and then I traded for this probably $200 guitar. If I remember the listing right, he wanted $200 for it or a trade. So I was like, I've got this thing. It's kind of a special build or whatever. Really cheap guitar. I'll trade you right across if you're interested. And he was like, yeah, bring it on up to me. So I met him in Oklahoma City, and he opened it up, and I was just in love with it from the get-go. I've always liked the 335 body style, but I do not have 335 money. So I was like, I was all over it. And then, I mean, and he was like, yeah, it was redone by a guy named Honest Ron. And I was like, okay.
This is a good start.
So is Honest Ron good at what he does? And he was like, oh, man.
The best.
It's honest work, you know what I mean? So I went ahead and traded him for it, and I love that guitar. It's my primary guitar. I don't know that I'll ever, get rid of it. I know I'll never get rid of it.
Yeah.
So it may break on me one day.
Sometimes the ones that you just like piece here, piece there, nothing too expensive. You're like, wow, this is kind of.
Well, and the thing is, whenever Honest Ron went through it, he did a good job. Like he rewired the entire thing, so he hand wired it all. Somebody really put a lot of thought into what they wanted done to it. So put new pickups in it. It's got a kill button on it, so it kills the. It's crazy, but yeah, it's a fun guitar to play. And then my backup guitar is because you gotta have two. I break a ton of strings. Sometimes you get going, and I just don't know when to stop. So my backup guitar is a Fender Strat.
Okay.
98 Fender Strat.
Okay. What color? Sunburst?
Blue.
Oh, blue.
Yeah.
Dark blue or?
Like Lake Placid.
Oh, okay.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What I was getting at earlier is, I'll unfurl the jacket right here. He makes guitars. That's what I was getting at.
That's dope.
Yeah, so he makes custom guitars, and that's what I was getting at. He's already getting you fitted for a Rex tie as we speak.
Yeah, man. Hey, I'm open. I'm open to playing new guitars.
I like the. I've been wanting to get one Epiphone Casino.
Yeah.
Which same sort of body style as 335, but
Yep.
I've there's one on Facebook that I've been eyeing. I'm like, I just don't know if I can pull the trigger on it, but
Right.
yeah, I like a variety. I like to have a variety. Like you can never have too many guitars. You only understand that if you play.
They all
so,
do different things.
Yeah.
They all do different things.
I've been trying to get this guy to start a little cover band just for fun.
He acts like I have anything good to contribute. I don't. I can't sing. I can't play an instrument. The only thing I do good with music is listen to it. So, I mean, that's all I can do.
Who are some of your inspirations as far as artist-wise? Is there like one singular artist or?
So no, man, and I'm all over the place. I feel like I've got a really wide variety of influences. Probably the first influence I can think of was Hank Williams Sr. So
Okay.
I was like 3 or 4 years old. My grandpa had this old Dodge Ram Prospector truck, and we'd go run into town and get farm diesel or whatever, and he'd always have Hank Williams Sr. playing. So my earliest memory was Hank Williams Sr. And then tons of gospel music like the Gaithers, and my dad was born in 1953. So when he was in college, he was like, the disco scene was going on. Mm-hmm. So growing up, he would play like a lot of funk and like Motown and like kind of some soulful type stuff. So it was all over the place from the beginning. And then tons of like 90s alternative music. 90s praise and worship music, 90s country music.
Yeah.
But like as far as like bands and groups go, like Switchfoot, I'd say is a pretty big influence. Incubus was a pretty big influence. As far as like songwriting goes, Randy Rogers. I listened to a lot of Randy Rogers in high school. I thought that he was the best songwriter ever when I was going through high school.
Yeah.
I mean, just the way that he could convey the way he was feeling, his words, they just always were perfect. But as far as like the country side of things go, like Randy Rogers, Chris Knight, just an incredible wordsmith. But just kind of all over the place, really.
We that might be the most far-reaching.
Yeah, that's
we
got a
haven't
lot
had-
of variety.
We've had a lot of variety,
Yeah.
but we haven't had anyone go that far back.
Yeah, especially like even like the disco funk. I don't think we've had that yet.
Who brought up disco? Someone. Blake Stevens. That's who it was.
Yeah,
He's
that
like,
makes sense.
okay. He asked if we played disco at Tumbleweed.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
It's So the next question I got for you. Do you know who this is?
Yeah, I was gonna.
That's
see.
Dwight Yoakam.
Okay.
Okay. We need to keep a tally.
Yeah.
See
We try to
who has
ask
and who
every.
hasn't.
When we used to film it here, or record it here, we would ask all the guests if they knew who this was. We kind of try to keep track. Most people didn't, but
Yeah.
Yeah, that's Mr. Guitar Cadillac and Hillbilly Music himself.
there you go.
There we go, right there.
If you could cover one artist on an album, do one album of just covers, who would it be?
Just one artist? Mm-hmm. Like their own catalog?
Mm-hmm.
Boy, I've been asked some hum names before, but that one may take the cake.
Thank you.
He's really proud of that question. It's an
you've
awesome question.
You've thought that one through. That's some late night thinking right there. That's like cannot fall asleep. What am I going to torture these poor folks with that are coming in to do this podcast?
Shower thoughts. Yeah. There we go.
If I was going to cover one artist in their catalog, gosh, that's hard. Sheesh. That's tough, man. I have no idea. I was not expecting anything like that.
Stumped him.
Got me.
Daggum.
We'll come back to it.
So,
We'll come back to it. Remember that question.
Okay.
so if you could pick one, what's your favorite song of your own catalog? Do you have a favorite?
So, yeah, there's several songs I was happy with the way they turned out, but as far as like just kind of the perfect storm of or how I thought it should have sounded from start to finish, and then it ended up sounding like that, I would say probably the song "End All." I don't know if you're familiar with that or not. It was on the Trouble EP, but just the way that it was written and kind of the way that it all came together and the way that it all came together was just kind of a perfect storm of.
Yeah.
That's exactly how I thought it would sound when it came out. So
Is that also your favorite to play at shows? Too?
I really like playing that song live. I really do.
Yeah.
That's one of my favorite songs to play live.
What are some of the locations? What are some of your favorite places you guys have played as a full band?
Definitely Tumbleweed. Love playing Tumbleweed. Every year we get to do a show at Diamond Head in Tahlequah.
Oh, yeah.
That's always a really good time. We always show up early and go hang out at the river and go swimming. And
Is that is that just like a solo show? Or is that a festival show?
no, it's a solo show.
Okay.
Yeah, they do a show every Friday and Saturday down
Yeah.
at the campground stage, the
Yeah.
river stage. So
I know they used to have what is it called? Like they have a festival.
Diamond Stone or
Medicine Stone.
Medicine Stone.
Yeah. That was a festival. I was
Why
thinking
have
of.
I not heard of that?
I don't know why you haven't heard.
So
of it. Turnpike used to play there all the time. Pretty sure.
it was, I believe that the event was owned by Jason Boland and some of the Turnpike guys.
Yeah.
And then there was something with the promoter. There was some sort of fallout or something, and then they quit doing the event. So.
Yeah.
But I believe that it's back now in some form or fashion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did
Like I
you
said.
Did you come up with an answer yet?
Oh shoot! You're still waiting on me.
He got distracted.
Man, I don't know. That's so tough. That's such a tough one. Because I don't know that I know a whole album that I like 100% agree with every word that's been said. You know what I mean?
Okay, we'll do this. What about like an artist, any of their songs? You can choose your favorite songs, but just one artist.
I would have to say, man, that's so tough. Just scroll through the old memory bank here for a minute because there's so many good ones out there.
That's a dumb question. That's a dumb question. Come back to that one. Let's do the next one.
So
Do you do any covers?
Yeah.
Older covers, like older country covers?
No. Most of our covers are like more along either like the southern rock side of things or like even some of the alternative stuff. Like we cover like a Third Eye Blind song. We do that, and we do we like sometimes we'll do a Matchbox 20 song, and so just kind of
Which song?
Matchbox
Yeah.
Unwell.
Okay,
Yeah,
I love that song.
yeah.
it's a good one.
Do you pick a little banjo in that one, or
No.
leave the banjo out? That's the one that has banjo in it, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, no, we just leave that at home where it belongs.
Yeah. So where would you like to see your like the progression of your band? Like say like 2, 3, 5 years down there. Where would you like to see your band be?
I would just like to be consistent. I would just like to be able to be consistent. You know, it's not an easy job having to manage yourself, book shows, order merch, run all your social media. Like, you know, there's a lot of stuff that goes into it. But I would just like to be consistently playing shows and hopefully working towards being a full-time musician. That's where I would really like to be. Yep.
Yeah, I can definitely see that being something that would be ultimate goal for musicians that are just like, well, not you're obviously not just starting out, but like that are kind of smaller, working to where you don't have
Right.
to
Haven't made it to the next level.
Yeah, exactly.
For sure.
You said a trigger word for Jagger. You said merch. So you have merch out where the people can go get right now?
Well, so we don't have a merch site or anything up at the moment. That's been something that I've been working towards. Haven't got it quite done yet, but that's something I'm hoping to get done closer to the middle of this
Do you
year.
bring merch to shows or anything?
Yeah,
or?
we do. We do carry some physical, some soft merch.
Yeah.
I mainly, and there's a lot of shows like the acoustic shows and whatever else. Like you walk into a venue, you're like, I don't want to bring the merch in. I don't want to have to. You know what I mean? So and I'll be honest, that's a
you
flaw
feel like a
of
con
mine.
man. You feel like a con man. Just
Yeah.
like, give me your money.
Right. No, that's probably a flaw of mine, but I'm call it laziness or whatever you want to. I'm just like, by the end of that show, I'm like, these people, I do not want to bother these people by it. Like, hey, you guys want to buy a T-shirt? You know? So most of the time, I just leave that in the car anyway. I do like to hand out stickers,
Okay.
so I'll just order like a bunch of stickers
Yeah.
and just hand them out.
If I was playing a show, I'd be like, okay, line up. We're selling some merch over here in the corner now.
I don't care what you're doing. You're gonna go buy a T-shirt.
Yeah, well, and like depending on the gig too. Like there'll be some gigs where it's warranted to bring somebody along to sell merch, but like it's such a, especially in a full band setting, it's just a whole nother fiasco to have to deal with that and deal with all the other stuff you've got going on.
A lot of people don't realize how, and we don't realize what it's like to do the show aspect and all that stuff. But even just merch alone is kind of a handful. Like
Yeah.
we do merch and we made all of our stuff, and it was like it's a process.
Yeah.
Like making it, selling it, advertising it, trying to get people to, it's a
Right.
whole thing that a lot of people don't look at.
It's tough, man. It's tough. Any form of entrepreneurship is it's a struggle.
Sure.
I like to, when I go, sometimes I go to Tumbleweed when they're doing load-ins or whatever, and you can always tell, like, the people who have officially, like, made it, they sit on the bus while everybody else unloads the gear.
Right.
So that's kind of a tell sign
It's a
right there.
telltale sign. Yeah. So where can fans find you, like on social media? Do you guys have like TikTok, Facebook, Twitter?
You have a TikTok because you popped up on mine.
So I do have a TikTok. It's not something that I like use all the time. I need to be better about that as well. TikTok is really past my age of doing things.
Yeah.
Like and I get it. It's a tool. To me, there's lots of things that seem very gimmicky about it, and I try to be as straightforward as possible. Like the whole gimmick thing's not really my deal. I'm just kind of I can get I can be a silly guy at times, but it's not necessarily anything I'm trying to film and put on TikTok or whatever. Maybe back 10 years ago, whenever we thought doing that on camcorder would get us on like Saturday Night Live or something, but
You want to be on AFV?
yeah. But no, like you can find us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. We do have a TikTok. Good luck finding anything on there. I bet there's a couple videos, but
It's weird. Just a little bit after texting him, I get on TikTok and I'm scrolling through, and there's one of his videos.
It's China, man.
I was like,
They're on your
watching.
phone.
It's a
They're
government,
on
bro.
your phone.
Yeah, they're watching. Did you get a chance to come up with an answer for my question?
It's so dumb. It's such a dumb question. I don't even know. Okay, one artist, any song. I'm gonna have to go with Incubus, I think.
You know who that is?
I don't.
I don't
Personally,
either.
I don't.
You know who Incubus is? Have you ever heard the song "Pardon Me"
I don't think I have. Maybe if I heard it.
or "Wish You Were Here" or
I've heard "Wish You Were Here." I think.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
That's a little bit outside of my.
Yeah. That's kind of more. I've got a broad range of like stuff I listen to, but sometimes I can like I might get a surface level
Yeah.
of like artists and like
Well,
a certain
and-
genre.
And really, the reason why I like that band so much is because they're just so out of the box. I mean, there's nothing cookie cutter about that band. I mean, they're very creative. They're using different things to make different sounds, and ultimately, I think that's that's kind of what a lot of music is missing is creativity. Because kind of I talked about the machine earlier. When you put something into a machine, it's all kind of cookie cutter. There's a formula for it, and that band always was just kind of outside the box.
Yeah.
And there's people doing that, in modern day, but that was kind of where I noticed that.
In your opinion, what do you think your genre is? Because, like you were just saying, there's a lot of people reach out to me and they're like, "Hey, I want to do the podcast or whatever," but they're like, you could put them all in this box. They all sound the same.
Right.
And I noticed that about your music that you don't sound like everybody else, which I like.
Right.
So what genre would you put yourself in?
Southern blues rock, Midwest alternative.
That's very accurate. I all those words.
It all
everything
fits.
I've heard. Yeah,
It all fits. Southern
Yeah.
blues rock, Midwest alternative.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I came up with in my head for the depth. Because people ask me that all the time, like, what do you consider yourself? And it's like I feel like everything that we've put out is different from the next thing that we've put out. Now there may be like the Coming Home EP. It kind of had a similar sound. It was all done at the same place. From the Trouble EP into the singles that we've been dropping, those were all done with Dwight Hamlin, but we always came in with a different idea of how we wanted that particular thing to sound. So it all sounds a little bit different. But I do attribute that to bands like Incubus and that do think outside the box. And I mentioned Third Eye Blind earlier. I feel like they're kind of the same way. There's a band called Modest Mouse that's like very Seattle grungy type alternative. Like it's the sounds that you don't normally hear that like pull me to them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
I feel like that's kind of where I fit into the.
I like stuff that's got kind of an edgier kind of sound to it, and that's what I get from. Feel like I say that to everybody, but that's what I like, and that's kind of what I pick up from.
Yeah, I totally agree, and I think your music. That's probably been the most accurate answer to that question I've ever had. Like it really is accurate, especially from everything I've heard from you guys, and I think it all sounds great.
I appreciate it, man. Thank you.
Do you consider, and both of you can answer this, do you consider Nickelback to be a southern, like country rock sort of? Would you put them in a country? Would you? I here recently. Listen. Here recently, there's like if you had a Venn diagram, right? I feel like they leach over into that southern country, like. I mean, like I get a little
Their recent
Confederate
music or
Railroad,
their-
like.
Their recent music, or
He's from Canada, bro.
So there's a
so
new
is Colter
song.
Wall though.
You get a point, but I feel like Chad Kroger's from a different part of Canada.
Oh, we
Very
always
Montreal proper.
we always talk about Chad. We always call him Chad Kroger. I saw a video where the way you actually say his last name is Chad Kruger. Just for those of you who care.
And this is why I can't stand Canadians. No, I'm just kidding.
But there's a song, High Time, I think is what it's called, which is about exactly what it sounds like it's about. but to me it kind of reaches into that southern country, like. No, just me.
I still think he sound. I don't know if it's just my preconceived notion of what Nickelback is.
I mean, yeah, the
But-
classic songs.
Yeah.
like they're not country.
Yeah.
But I
Maybe
think-
I just haven't heard enough because you're talking about their new music, right?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I just haven't heard enough of their new music to really.
Okay, they're
Pinpoint
on
them.
on Spotify. They're on some southern like country rock playlists.
Playlist?
Really?
Are they really? Mm-hmm. That's interesting.
Because I was looking through the playlist at Tumbleweed because we play "Burn It to the Ground" for the line dance,
Yeah.
which I know is not a country song, but
Yeah.
so I go down this rabbit hole of Nickelback, and I see them on these Spotify created playlists that have a subgenre of country. So I was just curious as to your take. You reacted exactly how I thought.
Yeah. I guess I'm thinking about the songs like "Burn It to the Ground," thinking,
Yeah.
I don't think so. But I haven't really listened to much of their new album to really say, okay, for sure, that's what this is.
Okay, fair enough.
I also don't know that I've heard that new song but like one time and just probably brushed it off and went on about my business.
Yeah. So, do you have 3 songs for us, real quick?
Yes, three of mine.
Yes.
Or three.
Yeah.
Well,
Three
we're
to
gonna
add to the
we're gonna
playlist.
put your music on there as well, but this is just 3 songs you've been listening to recently.
Yeah.
3 songs that I've been listening to recently. Okay. The first one would have to be. Is it Neil Young or Neil Diamond? That's Neil Young, isn't it? You ever heard the song called "Old Man"?
Yes, it's Neil Young.
Been listening to that one quite a bit recently.
Bring out the harmonica on that one.
He's the father
That's-
of alternative music.
That's
so.
what you could play. It's harmonica
Oh. That triangle.
or accordion. I could see you being an accordion type of guy.
You know, who knows? Hidden talents everywhere, man.
So I've been listening to that one. I've been listening to the 1998 rendition of "Crash Into Me" by Dave Matthews Band. If anybody's familiar with that. And then there's a song by a funk group called the Gap Band. The song is called "Outstanding." That one's a jam.
What was the band again?
On that last one?
Yes.
The Gap Band.
Gap.
Gap Band.
I heard Gat for some reason. I don't know why.
GAP.
Yeah. Okay. Red.
You're gonna put me on the spot here. I have my 2 here. If this will update, maybe. So Chase Rice and Reed Southall, Oklahoma,
Yeah.
and this is kind of off swing for me, but John Party, Your Place or Mine, I think. It's not popping up here, but Your Heart or Mine, something like that, maybe.
Okay.
And then I think it's called I Walk Alone. It's going to be Chase Rice as well. Yep. I
Chase
Walk
Rice kick here lately?
Well, so his new album, the song with Reed Southall, got me kind of
Yeah.
on that whole trail. So
Yeah.
we're hoping to sit down with Reed Southall at Calf Ride. I don't know. That might be a far-fetched idea, but
Who knows, man? Who knows? Okay. What have I been listening to here lately?
the problem is I don't really know much Reed Southall. Like it's not my genre really, so I'm trying to educate myself. a
I
little
think
more.
I added a Tyler Howard song a couple weeks back, but I'm going to do Mac Miller by Tyler Howerson. I don't know. I really like Tyler Howerson. Have you listened to much of his stuff?
I don't think so.
He's playing at Cafe also.
Excuse me.
And I don't know. I like his style. Okay, where else am I gonna go? Let's go. I hope I didn't add this last week. Coast by
I don't think so.
Shane Smith and the Saints.
Incredible band.
Yes, I really love their music.
Yeah.
He's not as big of a fan of them as I am, and I don't know why.
Those 4-part harmonies could put the Eagles out of business. I mean, that's just.
All right, and
I've told this story before, but my stepdad went to a concert, and he went with some friends, and it was Shane Smith and the Saints, and he obviously doesn't know anything about him. I'm telling him, I'm like, yeah, I don't really know if it's going to be your thing, and Hey, Liz. And he's like, that was awful.
Finally, I'm going to overrated by Giovanni. And Higher Guns.
I like that one. That's a
Yeah.
good one.
I'm a big Giovanni fan too.
Yeah, man.
I if we get a chance to talk to them too, I'm gonna be stoked.
They're cool dudes.
Yeah, I'm gonna be really stoked.
And you opened for him, right? You said earlier?
We've opened for, I think we've opened them for 3 or 4 times.
Too many times to count.
Well, it all bleeds together. You
Yeah.
you can't. I mean, there's
After what is it? 7 years?
7 years.
7
yeah.
years? Yeah, I'm sure.
After 7 years, you don't remember what the next one or the last one was.
Yeah,
so.
exactly.
How do you go about? We probably need to we're getting close to time, but how do you go about like setting up a? What am I trying to say? Song list or what would you call
Set
that?
list?
Set list.
Set list. How do you go about setting that up?
What I like to do is I like to, which we try to stay consistent throughout our show with where we're placing our more energetic songs and whatnot. So we start off pretty fast paced or at least pretty upbeat, and then but the way I like to do is I kind of lump everything in keys. So if I've got 2 or 3 songs in the key of A, I'll try to put those together. That way transitions aren't such a nightmare. Switching capos on and off all night. So
I never thought about that.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So do you, when you go up to do, is it the same? Like, do you ever switch it up, or is it always the same every night? The same.
No, because we're in a unique position to where there's some shows will be 2-hour shows, some shows will be 90-minute shows, some shows will be 60 minutes. So we're kind of in a unique spot where we have to change what we do and don't do pretty often, which is nice and not nice too, because you get comfortable with one set list, and then something you got to go from doing a 60 to doing a 90, or doing a 90 to a 120 or whatever. So then you're like, crap.
What's your favorite to do? Would you rather sit up there and play for 2 hours, or?
It depends. It depends on. I do like the 2-hour set. I think that obviously I like a 90-minute set too and a 60-minute set. They're all great, but I really feel like, especially if you kind of got the right storm of things happening for you, like the crowd's into it, everybody's having a good time, and excuse me, I think that's you get into that hour and you're like, these people want more of it, so let's keep playing.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
I think that 2-hour set's really kind of the sweet spot. 90 minutes great though. Don't get me wrong, I'm not going to complain.
Right.
Yeah.
So, something I've always been curious about. I'm obviously, without getting into specifics or anything, when you go and play somewhere, if you're playing a 60-minute set somewhere on a Friday night and somewhere on a Saturday night, when you're setting that up, is it like a rate where you're like, this is how much we charge to come and play, or is it differ by the venue?
Depends on how bad you want to play.
Okay.
Depends on how bad you want to play and where you're at, and kind of you just have to look around and see what your best option is. Because like I take quite a bit of what's the word? Initiative, I would say,
Okay.
in trying to be like business savvy as far as where I'm at and what I'm doing and what I need to break even and what I need to make profit. So obviously this is not a profit thing at this level of the game, but you can do things to make profit if you're smart with what you're doing and where you're around. So
I was thinking about that the other day. To me, it would be tough if I was going somewhere to play and they were like, how much, thinking about all the stuff that goes into it. And,
What are you worth?
yeah,
Exactly. Yeah.
yeah, and that's the biggest struggle coming up is you've got to get to a point where you can pay everybody. And if you've got more than a 4-piece band or a 5-piece band or whatever, then you're saying, hey, listen, I have to have X amount of dollars to pay everyone and pay myself, and that's breaking even most of the time. So really, when you get to 6 or 7 or 8 years of experience, things kind of change just a little bit for you. But that's always tough, having to finally step up and say, I think I'm worth X amount of dollars.
Right. What we really want to know is how much you're making to play calf fry this no, it just something's always been kind of
Yeah.
I've always been kind of interested in. So, yeah.
Right.
Do you play golf or anything like that?
No. I'm driving that golf cart though. You know what I mean? Whipping it around. I like to fish.
Okay, I was just about to say.
Yeah, that was
you
our
look
next question. Yeah.
Yeah, I like to fish. I'm a huge bass fisher. I love to bass fish.
Okay.
It's great.
Any places around here you fish?
I'm from here.
I have no idea.
Yeah,
what's around here, so.
I really don't know either.
We'll have to talk after the camera's
Okay, sounds good.
We we can't give away any of your secret
Yeah.
spots.
Yeah,
here.
no. Listen, I got honey holes, boys. I can't be talking so freely about things like this. We'll loose the lips.
We're wanting to start like a behind the scenes type thing where we, you know, some people we have on, they like to fish, or some people like to
Right.
golf or whatever. And so we're wanting to do some more things like that.
That'd be
So-
cool. Yeah.
So.
No, I love to fish. I'll take y'all out.
Is there anything you want to plug before we wrap things
Gotta
up?
get upcoming shows.
Upcoming shows. So this Friday, which is St. Patrick's Day, 3/17, I'm playing acoustic set over at Go to Fredo's Pizzeria in Cushing, Oklahoma. And then on Saturday, which is 3/18, we are full band at Union 28 in Midlothian, Texas.
Okay.
So those are the two coming up. And then we've got,
What part of Texas is that in?
that is like probably 20 minutes south of Dallas.
Okay.
So it's kind of in the bigger metroplex. So, yeah. That's the
Awesome.
shows.
And social media, what's your handle?
Instagram, CHB Oklahoma. Facebook is Charlie Hickman Band. Twitter, I don't even know. CHB Oklahoma.
We'll find it and we'll link it in the description.
for sure.
Yeah, shove it in there.
Perfect.
Sounds great.
All right. Well, we really appreciate you coming on in such
Yes,
a
sir.
pinch.
Appreciate you, man.
We will definitely link up again.
Thank you.
Around calf fry, if not to find some of these honey holes before then. So.
Yeah.
No,
Mine's fixing to go on too, I'm sure.
I also make fishing lures, so
Oh,
I'll have to hook you up with some.
you're a man of many talents.
This is his other.
So you got the
I'm just
jacket.
repping
Yeah,
myself.
yeah. He said, do you have anything to plug? And he straightens up his jacket. And,
Yeah, actually I do.
Atwood's Ranch and Home.
Atwood, sponsor us.
Yes, please do.
All right. Well, thank you again for coming on. We
Yeah,
really
appreciate it, man.
Thank you. Well, we're back.
I could. That's great. Or dim the screen. I'm putting it. This is for Rhett editing this video. Dark filter on the screen. It's slowly coming to light.
Bad Brad's Barbecue, where it's good to be bad.
There you go. Now go. That's staying in.
I'm
Keeping
fine
it
with
in.
it. All right. So, no whiskey of the week this week, but that's okay because Bad Brad's Barbecue is still in Stillwater, still at the same location, and still bringing the best barbecue in the state of Oklahoma, bar none.
Jagger, what is Bad Brad's Barbecue?
It's a barbecue place.
It's the best barbecue in Stillwater. Yeah, there's a couple other places. I'm not even going to waste my breath naming them. Because it's not worth it. Don't waste your money there.
They don't have the time or the money to be on this podcast. But Bad Brad's is the best barbecue in Stillwater, and that's why they're on this podcast.
Yeah. The other ones, they called us and they said, please let us sponsor the episode. And I said, I can't. I would like to, but it's just not. I tried the food and it's just not good.
It's not good.
But you know what is good? Bad Brad's
Bad
Barbecue.
Brad's Barbecue. And I'm sitting here looking at their Facebook page, and their first cover photo is a beautiful picture of some brisket nachos that you will have in your mouth come next week when you go to Bad Brad's Barbecue.
You got me into something similar to that. Dirty fries.
Dirty fries.
Talk to them about the dirty fries, because that's a game changer.
Imagine having homemade home cut fries that are of the best variety of Idaho potato that you can ever get, and pair that with some homegrown beef brisket that is
Melts in your mouth.
melts in your mouth, cooked, slow cooked in the smokers right in house there at Bad Brad's. You can smell the smoke when you park in the park. You can smell the smoke when you pull into the parking lot.
I live like 15 minutes away. When I step outside to go check the mail, I'm like, is that Bad Brad's Barbecue?
That's Bad Brad's Barbecue in your nostrils, and you want it, and you know you're gonna taste it later that day.
It's good stuff.
It's great stuff. I mean, what else can you say about the dirty fries? And you can get any one of their meats on the.
And they've got a wide selection.
Yeah, and every single one of them is great. Like, what else can you do?
They've got so many combo. You can do combo plates. You can do just like single. You can buy just the meat. You can do combos. You can do all type. They've got all types of sides, and they do their own seasonings and stuff. What was Brad? The okra, the secret menu hack.
I was gonna say they make their own barbecue sauce too.
Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Bad Brads have to.
Yeah, of course.
And they dispense it in these little udders. It looks like a cow udder. I mean, go for that alone. You know.
It's the experience when you go to
Secret
Bad
menu
Brad's.
item. Tell Brad we sent you, and order this fried okra with the house seasoning on it. Thank me later.
I mean, if we're being honest, I think you guys owe us money since we told you that, if we're being honest. So another thing at Bad Brad's is they're a family event or a family venue that they have events all week. Monday they have cornhole, ran by yours truly, and then Friday they have live music every Friday from some of the artists we've had on this podcast.
This very podcast.
Exactly. This Friday, March 17th, Josh Hebensberger. I really hope I said your name
that's a
right,
tough
Josh. But I'm pretty sure I got it right.
What time does it start? 7 p.m., right?
7 p.m. at Bad Brad's Barbecue. And then the week after that, our very own Levi Walker coming back to Bad Brad's. Going to play an acoustic show there for everybody to go see. Cole Toll was this last Friday. Heard he was good. Heard he was
That's
really
what I heard as well.
good.
Yeah, we can. We've been in there recording before when they show in the place. You want to get there in time to get your food, sit there because it will be packed.
Of course. Yeah.
Because it's the spot to be.
Exactly. And I know we don't have a whiskey of the week this week, but still go get you a whiskey. Vernon has all the
Listen.
whiskeys that you could ever imagine at that bar, that you could ever need at that bar. Go get you a flight while you're there. I mean, you might as well. You're there. It's their experience.
If you've got about an hour to an hour and a half to spend, go ask Vernon one question about whiskey,
Exactly.
and then you can write a book.
Exactly.
He's gonna give you exactly what you're looking for. If you're like, maybe Jager's like, I don't know much about whiskey, but I want to try something out. Go in there, ask Vernon. He'll know, and he'll educate you.
And maybe you're Rhett and you're balling on a budget and you want some good whiskey. He's going to give you a good whiskey
At a
for
good price.
good price.
Of course.
A good price. Every single time.
Every time.
I mean, what else more can you ask for this? We've told you about Bad Brad's. We told you where you need to be.
Yeah.
So go.
Go do it.
I mean, it's where it's good to be bad.
Yeah. Get a souvenir cup, take it home.
Of course.
I've only
This
got like
comes with every
200 over
meal.
there, so
This comes with every meal.
yeah.
So, just, for that alone, just go.
Bad Brad's Barbecue.
Where
Where it's good to be bad.
Bad.